Hey guys, Tyrnek here, back with another Studies in Salt. So, we got a 1v1 on Paddy Field, Godzi versus Vericht. Looks like Godzi is playing blue, while Vericht is playing red. Most likely Landute versus Eastern Bloc, although I could be wrong. Yep, that is Landute. And no, that is USSR. Interesting. So, let's wait for the deployments to finish, and then we can take a look. So, Tiger, Black Fencer Gepard, Automatic, Martyr 2s, Martyr 2s. So it seems like a fairly standard push into Foxtrot, except the only issue is I believe he's gone a little too heavy on the Martyr 2s. Martyr 2s, cheapest you can get them is 50 points, so that's 200 points worth of Martyr 2s. I think it would have been better to have just like a pair of Martyr 2s, and then spend the rest with Juggernaut, like spam sort of infantry. Just to help, or maybe just Live Garden, base Live Garden, honestly, just to help, just to help prevent too many losses to your Martyr 2s. Martyr 2s are 30 points a pop, and I've said before, they're pretty specialized in their use. They actually aren't the greatest anti-infantry fire support, so gotta be kind of careful and not lose those too much. Weasel Mark 20, couple of Dragoneer, a Wildcat going up there, so I guess that's fine. Personally, I always like having at least a recon unit and maybe like an infantry ATGM squad in here, just to act as like a little check, as if something tries to make its way into Gulf, at least I'll know about it. Although, I mean, he has a Tiger, so I guess he can figure that out. Alright. It is a 1 CV start, which is presumably how I was able to afford all those Martyr 2s. And on Vericht's side, we have Spam of VDV, what looks to be Spetsnaz and Skrzet, BRDM3s, Tor, is that Karuna PB? K52 and a couple of SVKs. This is I honestly think this is a very weak opening. Depending on where he's going, if he tries to like push into Golf or something like this, like Godzi plays his cards right, he should absolutely demolish everything that goes into this area. Martyr 2s will be able to cut down literally everything that he's sending over. And also, known as SVK, it's a pretty shitty mortar. For 60 points, you only get 39 rounds. It's even worse than the Amos, and at least the Amos has double fire capabilities. It's worse than the VPM. It's just a bad mortar. Like, USSR, ironically, has sort of weak mortar choices, but the no-nos are definitively weaker than, say, the Podnos or the Vasilek. So I don't really recommend this. But, well, let's see if he can make it work. Ooh, Tiger getting shot at, I believe, by the Skrjets. Okay. So the intention is just to push into Bravo. I see. Ooh, that was a good WDNS strike. And yeah, now Vericht is, Vericht has lost his Spetsnaz, which is actually really good for Godzi. And he's also lost 2 squads of VDV. So this attack is gonna stall out, and Godzi making the right counter move. Instead of just waiting back here, he's being very aggressive with his stuff. He should perhaps though start smoking off his super heavy so that he doesn't lose it to something stupid. Okay, yeah, he definitely should have smoked off this approach. If he had done that, he wouldn't have lost all of his Martyr 2s to the Conquer Zems. So that was a critical mistake, and this is exactly what I mean by, if you don't use, like, smoke can very easily win or lose you the game. Like, literally, if he had smoke there, instead of having 4 nearly destroyed Panzergren squads and a panicked Leopard, he would have had 4 intact Panzergren 90 squads and 4 Martyr 2s. You smoke. That's really all I can say. Automatic getting caught out by the KA-52. That really should not have happened. He should have seen that one coming. TO-62. Yeah, I mean, bad unit, but good usage. So, like, oftentimes we say, you know, like, oh, this unit is shit or that unit is shit. Like, don't get me wrong. If you use a bad unit in the correct way, a bad unit can still do work. That doesn't mean it's any less of a bad or situational unit, though. All right, so poor sequencing with the engagement here. You really, with the Panzergrens versus VDV 90, it's honestly advisable to just not use your own fire support, just because you know the Panzergrens are going to win versus the VDV, but the VDV have a really, really good launcher, so it might be better in this case to just not even risk your Martyr 2s. And again, like I said, you cannot afford to throw away Martyr 2s. Spetsnaz VMF. Yep, and oof. Stuff here just got isolated and cut off. And now, like, I honestly believe he should have pulled out his 285, like, smoke this off, and then pull it back into this area. Because now he just, Godzi just wiped himself. Literally. He's not, again, I can't emphasize this enough. Him not using smoke has basically lost him this game. Or at least has lost him the opener. Because he honestly had the more advantageous position. Like, if he had preserved his Martyr 2s and his Panzergrens and used them correctly, he would be in this town by now. He would have had Martyr 2s like overlooking this spawn zone. He would have had his 285 being able to deal with literally everything here. He could have won this game within like 5 minutes or so, but he didn't. And it's literally due to the fact that he did not use smoke. And now he's on the back foot. Yeah, like I said, Martyr 2s can't afford to lose. Really, really expensive to do a call out of a Martyr 2. Losing all that stuff, he has, ironically, the USSR player is now able to just buy more units and like kind of get more mass than a Land U player, specifically because the Martyr 2s are that expensive. Can't afford to throw away Martyr 2s, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, now Godzi has just kind of given up trying to be offensive. Like he's really defensive for some reason, and I really don't know why, because he needs to get back into this game. He needs to make a move somewhere, somehow. And sitting back like this is not really going to cut it. Like, in this situation, I don't understand why all this shit is back here. In this situation, spread out your infantry along here, and then put out a little smoke cloud and move your Martyr 2s out over here, your 2A5s out over here, your automatic out over here. That way you can start firing like this, and if you have a smoke cloud here, you can use it to pop in and out, break line of sight of the T-72B and other stuff. That way you can just like destroy all the infantry, 2A5 can take care of the T-72B, and then you'd be golden. This attack would have been completely shut off. Nothing he really could have done. Maybe get like a Peace Rhine, dive the K-52, and then just let your automatic and just let your automatic wreak havoc. But he's not. And because he's not, this attack is most likely going to succeed. Or at the very least, it's going to... I have the feeling that this attack is going to be able to, if not drive Godzi out, then at least attrit him. Yeah, see what happened? Godzi was attritted. All of his infantry is now dead. His screen for his 2A5s and his automatics are now dead. In all honesty, the enemy's smoke wall, it would have been a huge benefit to Godzi if he had done this correctly. Because while the enemy infantry is walking out here, really the only threats to the 2A5 are the tanks. And the 2A5 outclasses the T-72B. All he has to do is just make sure that it doesn't get killed by the Kula, and then you're golden. But instead, what happened is that 2A5 just kind of got its line of sight cut off. It wasn't able to really engage the T-72s. And so what the T-72s were able to do is just fire into the defending infantry. And now Vericht is honestly in a better position here. Like, these subtle things, subtle movements, subtle repositioning can cause massive changes in how the game plays. Moving this in front of your infantry, again, improper infantry sequencing. Yeah, that was unfortunate with the 2A5, just didn't notice it soon enough. And yeah, this game is over. Yeah, not sure what to say. Godzi with the better potential position, but kind of just threw it away. Alright. Moving on to the next game, Godzi versus King George V on Battlefield once again. Godzi is playing, looks like NORAD this time, while King George is playing USSR with MTLBVs. Strela 10M. Oh boy, T80 BVs, huh? This is man pets. Okay. Well, on Godzi's side, we have M13s, looks like Rangers and a Humvee, Wolverine and CS. Maybe a little too much, but could work if you put like one CS here, another CS in here, so it can like watch up the road or something, or like maybe a CS in here, so it can like shoot at stuff that's coming down here or whatever. Yeah, it could work out. Over here we have a Wolverine, a Shap, M1A2, CS, shit ton of Rifleman spam, a couple Broadleys, 2 stack of mortars, Rangers. Okay. See how it works out. Not sending anything here, I think, is a mistake. So we'll see how that works out. Tunguska leading the charge. Honestly, astonished that this hasn't been killed yet. Like, this should have been killed by the Rifleman. Kind of just bad luck for Godzi on that part, I guess you could say. BV's not really. Okay, BV's now driving down. Yeah. Nice CSs. Yep, CSs proving their worth as fire support. Not sure you really want to do that. Like, I know it's just an Igla, but if it was anything else, if this was like a Gru squad, that would be pretty bad. It would kind of, well, it wouldn't be that bad because it'd mainly be killing field infantry, but if you killed the Wolverine, then that might come into play later on, most definitely. Bradley's. Not sure if that's the right choice for that. All right, nice attack into the 2-pointer. So basically, it's now a 2-point race. It's a good thing that Godzi did not try. Well, I mean, obviously he's trying to defend his own 2-pointer, but it's a good thing that because the enemy pushed his 2-pointer, he pushed the enemy's 2-pointer. This provides sort of what you could call like symmetrical pressure, and now it's sort of and now it becomes a micro competition between both players. Like, how well can they develop their enemy's 2-pointer while trying to push the enemy out of their 2-pointer? Still, mortars really should start getting moved up to like around Gulf. They cannot support anything here. Although, ooh, Bradley's are actually in a really good position because to start like cutting off the reinforcements. If he can get his M1A2 in there, that's gonna be really good. Just as long as he doesn't get base raced. In fact, that's actually kind of what looks like developing here is a base race. Yeah, this M113s still have stuff in there. M1A2, ooh. This is juicy. Spam of infantry. Again, stop. Don't just spam a single type of unit. Like, I know there's IFEs and like infantry in here, but like get some recon, get some A, get like a tank or something. You know, balanced forces. And also, really, I guess it's good that the CFE here is a good pick. It kind of zones out a bunch of stuff. Bradley's are a bit too far advanced though. But yeah, what happened to the M1A2? Might have gotten killed by something because there's no smoke supporting it. Because there's no smoke. Oh god, Godzi literally throwing games. Actually throwing games because he's not using smoke. You're killing me, dude. You're killing me. Okay, but yeah, now King George has 276 points. Godzi has still not reclaimed his 2-pointer, and his spawn attempt has actually failed, mainly because he lost the M1A2. Oh man, Godzi, this was your game to lose, and you lost. Now it's too late, because all this, like, now he's using smoke. Okay, I guess you learned, but I mean, I'm not really sure you can rely on this on the enemy being incompetent enough to let you do the same thing again. In this case, it would have been better to use those units to drive him out of your 2-pointer and then just push up into Golf and Bravo and try to equalize the game there. Like, you have to understand, pushing a spawn is only something that can it can only be something that is like an opportunistic thing. And if you have the opportunity, if you don't get that opportunity to work, stop. It's not going to happen. The enemy's not going to let it happen again. Just because he's going to have brought out like so many units to like try and stem the tide, that it's going to be so well defended that you're not going to be able to get back in. Not with the spawn disadvantage. Like, you have to drive all the way up here, whereas he literally just has to pop down there. His air units can just like fly in it and unleash their payload, like snipe an A2 before you even can like realize it. Like, you absolutely, if you're trying to push an air spawn like this, you absolutely must always 100% use smoke. I guess this is just use smoke, the study insult. Because we have seen 2 excellent examples of games where a lack of smoke has caused Godzi, who is in a superior position, to lose the game. Yeah, see? It's not going to happen. Not going to work. Even shitty Mostraki is going to be able to just overwhelm the stuff just because of the reinforcement lines. Still hasn't cleared out his 2-pointer. What are you waiting for, dude? I guess the one good thing that pushing the spawn so much has caused is caused Red to be overly paranoid about his 2-pointer, because he could literally just start attack moving down this way. Unsupported Canadian Airborne literally have nothing else, just going to get wiped out by bombers and BMPTs and who knows what else. Like, he really, these should have been pulled back. There was really no reason to like waste 75 points with the shock infantry like this. I don't know what to say. Godzi, it was your game to lose. And you're losing. Well, you are ticking. 10 minutes left. But in terms of material on the field, like, you are also too defensive. Like, what are you doing? No. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you trying to attack at close range with Bradleys? You know that the Bushmaster is a shitty autocannon. You know this. You know that the correct way to use M2A2 Bradleys is to like plonk that near max range and meme on other stuff with Totus. You know this. So why, in God's name, are you trying to go up a hill into where there's an enemy forest right there, where the enemy can literally just meme on anything driving up there without any infantry whatsoever, and you're even sending a CFV up there? What are you doing? I'm sorry. Like, I see these USSR lists. I'm just like, oh, okay, these lists are kind of a joke. Like, Godzi should win this easily, and he keeps making these like critical mistakes. What is? Oh my god, dude. All right. So it actually looks like Godzi won that game. Turns out that his 2.2 aggression has actually was made King George suspicious enough, like cautious enough, that King George did not push his advantage, allowing Godzi to basically tick up while he had basically no presence on the field. So I guess credit where credit is due. That kind of naked aggression did wind up helping him win the game, but it was a messy victory. There's no denying that, because if you look at what happened at the end of the game, had King George not been so reluctant to attack, Godzi would have been wiped out. Again, use smoke. Anyway, so I know I only have been casting games about people on the Bootcamp, so I guess it's only fair that the Bootcamp gets to see one of my games. So this is a friendly 1v1 that I did with this major named Zemshar People's Republic. Zemshar People Republic, which doesn't make sense because it should be People's Republic, but whatever. In this game, I am playing Commonwealth, while he is playing I believe, yes, Red Dragons. So this is not a ranked game, even though it looks a lot like one. It's a ranked format on hell in a very small place, but this is kind of like a friendly scrimmage game, I guess you could say. So let me talk you through my opener and my ideology. So this game, my objective is to take this area, then push into this top area here, hold this position to try and like cut off his reinforcements. Just like hold golf until I get into here, and then just basically push like develop the game from there. And to that end, I have an Azev and two Mikkers Marks 11s going up this road because this road is actually this 2-pointer push from his side is very popular from that side, and in fact you can see that he is indeed going to push my 2-pointer. So these Vickers Mark 11s should make short work of any fast moto units trying to drive down here. Slower mech units going up the center. I'm going to develop into this area. I plan to get my Challenger 2 and stuff in here, trying to like provide base of fire support so that I can start pushing like commandos and Canadian infantry into here. Light holding force for this Gulf side. This Lynx H7 20mm is off here, kind of just acting like a flank cheese deterrent. And yeah, and I already told you what the enemy is planning to do. He's actually kind of mirroring my strategy. So he's going to go defensive into Gulf and is going to try and push down this way. So both of our 2-pointers are going to wind up contacting each other. Sorry, both of our openers are going to wind up encountering each other. Neither of us is starting with the second CV, so both of us are going to be really, really aggressive in this first part. Now, full disclosure, one thing that I have gradually started to realize is that I'm actually pretty bad at openers, and you might see this in this initial engagement. I throw away units or like leave units exposed and let them be destroyed by a more established enemy base of fire, just because I'm not very good at like thinking like where I need to position my units and stuff quite yet. But okay, so here again, this Vickers Mark 11s and the Azov 25. As soon they took out, they didn't really do much. I really should have started pulling them back as soon as the enemy started smoking off here and stuff like that. Once he started driving mech stuff into here, I should have been pulling back. Also, what you can see is that these commandos are caught out with T62Ds. I can't really provide support because there's nothing over here to support it. My MEXAS and my Challenger 2 are over here. They're engaging the T90S and ZTQs. TH-49 are originally supposed to go up this way, but I redirected them down here because I noticed that the enemy was pushing this way. And again, we see the enemy going very, very defensive over here. In fact, I think his units are a little too far back. He should have. It might have been better for him to get the Leah in here and the ZTU in here, but that's just me, honestly. And yeah, we see I lose these 2 commando squads for pretty much no gain. Challenger 2, obviously doing good work. But in the beginning, at least, I don't really micro that well. You see, it got side shot by T62D like for nothing. Calling out a Panic Kehu was the wrong buy, honestly. Like, I should have known better than to think that a Panic Kehu was going to work against a major who was paying attention and knew how to micro his super heavy and smoke properly. I should have spent it on something else, maybe another tank like a Challenger 1 Mark III or something, maybe another super, maybe another like MEXAS and more infantry, some more ground units. So yeah, my Challenger micro, not the best. Instead of reversing it through here and literally exposing it to like any kind of side shots from here, I should have started pulling it back here and then re-engaging from that direction. Much less risk of getting blown up by a side shot that way. Here, I should not have kept advancing my Canadian infantry. Obviously, loading up these TH-495s was a weird mistake, because right now they're just getting cut down by these 5-point transperts and T90S. Losing infantry for no reason, especially when like dirty opener, is not the best thing. But yeah, I don't lose the Challenger to stupid shit, which is good. I did lose the MEXAS earlier to, I believe, the T90S, so I definitely should have tried to keep that alive more. If I had kept that alive, then I would be in a much better position, because the Challenger and the T90S would be keeping each other in check, while the MEXAS would be able to like plink at the T62Ds, plink at the WZ551s, stuff like that. Like tank superiority is important. But yeah, I also say how you really don't want to get tunnel vision too much, and so I noticed that the enemy has invested a lot of stuff here. So I'm like, okay, it seems like maybe I can try and push up a little more and get a good position in golf. And it turns out that I was rewarded for this action because I basically was able to get into this area and not really be contested by much. His ETQ is plonking away at my commandos, so it might have been better. There's nothing I could really do in that situation because this mortar is too short range to provide smoke here. So maybe I should have just taken a different vector and maybe have taken the longer way around to get into that town for the next time. 27 SK. Yep. So eventually I realized that he has a recon tank there, which is why I pulled back the TH495. All the TH495 and the Canadian rifles are going to do in this case are they're just going to get killed by the recon tank. No reason to lose 20-point IFV for nothing. So pulling it back. So yeah, just a lull in the action. I should have. I should not have. I should have tried to repair these Canadian rifles a lot sooner. Obviously, I also need to. Obviously, the Challenger 2 comes first, though. Yeah, losing the Vickers there, not necessarily the greatest situation. Recon Tank was just able to bully that, and now the Commandos are left out. But yeah. Enemies now attacking again. Now, though, I have two MEXAS, I have M40A1s, and I still have the Challenger I originally had, although I believe I got it side shot during an engagement with exchange with the T90S. Should not have taken that engagement because the Challenger was worried while the T90S was calm, so accuracy accuracy suffered, and I believe that RNG fucked me, and the Challenger missed twice while the T90S was able to get 2 hits into the Challenger. Luckily, I'm able to save it, though, so at least there's that. Should have pulled out that Lynx 20mm. It helps kill the Leodren, but it would. I should not have imagined it would do anything versus ETQ. Although, yeah. And again, like I know there's T62s here. Like this TH495, not going to do anything versus them, but it can still be useful as fire support if I preserve it, get infantry to screen for it, and then push the infantry forward again. Again, just try to keep your units alive at all possible. Okay, this Kehu I forgot about, and then it dies. I deserve to lose that. It was stupid. And so now Milan 2 getting in here. Now this is really bad for my opponent. This Milan 2 makes it very difficult for him to get back into golf without investing a lot of points. I say, like, again, infantry ATGMs, they're the best consolidation unit in the game. Like, if there is one unit you want to buy, and if you could only buy like one type of unit to quickly reinforce an area before the enemy pushes again, this is the unit you want to buy. It will be able to prevent. If a 20-point ATGM squad can delay like 200 points of unit, like can delay like 100 points of units from attacking you, then that is extremely cost efficient. Like just the mere presence of this squad delaying 100 points until like the enemy has like far more like both attention and units to actually try and push this out is incredibly powerful. So yeah, just use ATGM infantry. And also you might notice this has been outfitted. It's because Milan 2's never hit and they need all the fucking veterancy they can get because they need all the help they can get. Alright, that was bad. I think I lost the TH495 to the T62 here, and I was not careful, and I let these TH495s get popped by this T62D. 25 points, killing like 40 points in the IFEs, and it's probably going to. It has rendered these Canadian rifles useless. So from here, I'm making probes up into this top plateau area. Again, if you control this top plateau as my side, and you get like an ATGM squad into here, you've basically shut off this road. Really, really powerful. His T62D is arguably way too deep. It's most likely going to get killed by stuff. TOW here, I think, was there to help like get rid of the T62D and maybe zone out stuff. The reason I'm not advancing farther is because I presume he has like an HQ7 there, which he in fact does. Over here, I'm probing with the commandos. In this situation, the WZ-551 is able to equalize the disparity between the commandos and the Tankashasho, and basically allow the Tankashasho to hold against the superior shocks. It also helps that they're in a city with the damage reduction there. Although, considering I'm attacking from a forest into a city, it's not nearly as bad as it might first appear. But yeah, these commandos are going to get killed by the Shasho and the WZ-551 hunting them down. Although I do believe I get a return kill on the WZ-551, so at least I don't lose everything. At least I get something out of it. All right, and so there, what just happened? Lynx TOW got a hit on the T90S, caused a nice crit, and before my opponent was able to react, C2 MEXAS got in a nice side shot, killed it. So from here, what happened was basically Challenger 2 provided a good base of fire. It like provided the main check to the T90S. The TOW honestly was there just like to see if I could do something with it. Turns out that little gamble worked because his HQ7 was a little too deep in the forest and did not have line of sight on the Lynx TOW. So TOW was able to get in a shot, and now that I was able to use the MEXAS to push up from this cloud of smoke and get some shots into it. Like, so this is the point where the game actually turns, because at this point I have killed his super heavy and he has not killed mine. This is incredibly important, because now I can basically just bully everything he has. His T90S was the only thing that was able to keep all my forces in check in the area. Now that it is dead, I am free to exploit this gap and just drive right into this area, and eventually I am able to complete my overall objective of taking over Foxtrot, pushing him out of here, and starting to even threaten his 2-pointer. So yeah, lots of points, especially in the beginning, where I could have lost the Challenger 2 because of my own stupidity. Bit of a combination of luck, skill, and smoke is what kept the Challenger 2 alive. And now that the Chally 2 is back alive, I'm now back in the game. Well, since the Chally 2 is still alive, rather, I'm still in the game. MEXAS being a little bit ambitious. Obviously, it ran into stuff, so I had to pull it back. Kind of lucky that I survived on 1 health, to be completely honest with you. Yeah, in hindsight, I should have driven the Challenger 2 a little more this side. This is kind of a little unfair because meta knowledge, Red Dragon doesn't really have ATGMs, only has Tankashasho. Maybe would have been able to get a side shot from this position, but if Challenger was here, I would have been able to shoot up this road and deny reinforcements to this town. Might have made my job a little bit easier. But yeah, now as you can see, I'm starting to push out the plateau, which is really bad for him. Calling out a lot of panic bombers. I am obviously trying to mitigate that. He gets out a Fable, which honestly surprises me because I didn't think anyone brought the fucking Fable, so shame on me, I guess. He's able to take out a lot of my Tracked Rapier FSAs. In fact, I think he goes through my entire card of outfitted Tracked Rapier FSAs because my Radar Micro is not on point, so shame on me. does almost lose the Feybow to the Wolverine. Wolverine, it's a funny little unit. It looks like an anti-helicopter unit, but in fact it performs far better as a anti-plane one. The guided missiles and the short IR range, short anti-helo range, make it actually pretty bad versus helicopters. But the nice thing about this missile is that it fires 3 shots in very, very fast succession. So actually against planes, it is often able, even with the low range, to get off all 3 shots off at a plane. And if you get a pair of these with like maybe like a rapier in the back, you suddenly have a very, very potent AA net. So don't underestimate the Wolverine. Just got to know what it's used for and what it's not used for. Okay, should have lost the Challenger there, to be quite honest with you. Only reason I didn't is because 11 side armor versus 20 AP power gives me a second chance. This was me being like super, like I should have pulled the Challenger, I should have smoked it off, I should have done any number of things. Really, the only reason this is able to survive is one, luck. The luck and kind of the side armor helped save it from the Zemshar. And now, this smoke is what actually lets it survive. Because if I hadn't got that smoke there, the Zemshar might have been able to get off another shot at the Chally too. Maybe the Tonka Shasha would have been as well, and I would have lost my Chally too. And now the game is back into sort of like a stalemate position. Yes, I may have a slightly better position, but it's a tenuous position, and I no longer have the foundation of my ground support. I no longer have that kind of heavy support that I absolutely need to really be able to control the movement of his forces and be able to kind of hold the position I currently have. So, yeah, super heavies. Important. Keep them alive. Again, base defense. Don't want to get blown out by something stupid, especially not when I'm in a superior position. Yeah, the reason I'm using Fusiliers is because I have run out of Commandos 90. But that's one of the problems with Commonwealth. Low infantry availability means that you kind of, if you throw away too much infantry, like I've been doing, it starts to become a little dire. But yeah, as you can see, these Milan 2s just absolutely being a huge pain in the butt for my opponent here. Takashasho getting off some good shots into the MEXAS. Thankfully, I don't lose the MEXAS to my own ineptitude, but almost did. Enemy bringing a base Legion and the Z5. I honestly think this is a weird choice. It would have been better to take the ZSL 56, but the funny thing is that Legion just like walks all the way like into here. I should have honestly been paying more attention. As soon as I should have been paying attention to the kill list, and if I saw this die, I should have hit spacebar. If you hit spacebar when you hear a klaxon, when a unit dies, your screen will immediately center over the position where the unit died. So if this died to the Legion and I hit spacebar when I heard the klaxon, it would immediately snap to this position, and I'd be like, oh shit, there's something over there, and I could have been able to deal with it. But I didn't do it, so I didn't know, so this Legion is able to potentially do some cheeky stuff in my side. That spacebar snap 2 trick is really useful, also for flares. If a ally flares something, if you hit spacebar when you hear the flare, your screen will center on the flare. If you're wondering why Yujin doesn't make any note of this kind of capability in any sort of the documentation that they have, that's an excellent question, and I have no answer for you except because Yujin doesn't care about you. Yeah. Q5s and his bombers delaying me, but if you notice, all he's doing is just delaying me. He's not actually able to stop me because he has no ground forces to really follow up on the bombing run. So yeah, my Canadian rifles are panicked and stuff, but they're able to get into this town, and now I hold the town, which is really bad for my opponent here. Firing computer reset on the Challenger. It's a nice crit. Part of the reason I'm being a little bit lax with my Challenger 2 micro is because I know Red Dragons doesn't have any ATGM planes that can one-shot a Challenger. It needs to be like bigger, like really big plane trains to need to like take care of this thing, which is why I'm being a little bit overly greedy with it. But yeah, as you can see, because I initially held this position, enemy his reinforcements have been cut off here. Now that I hold this, if I get an ATGM squad into here, now his reinforcements this way are also cut off, which means that basically I can start now just pushing into his 2-pointer at will, because I really don't have to worry about him being able to threaten Golf or Foxtrot. Now, I guess a question can be like, well, why don't you just sit on this position? Well, I mean, I have the initiative. The enemy is now dancing to my tune. I am dictating where I get to move, and he has to react to me. So as long as I continue to have that advantage, I might as well just go for the throat and try to close out the game as quickly as I can. Give him no opportunity to get back into the game. Because if I sit on my laurels a bit and just try to go a little defensive everywhere, if he just like gets back into his 2-pointer, like concentrates like a T90, a couple of tomahawks, like a really big like kind of final push, and like just blows through my defenses at one point and tries to go like straight for my spawn or something like that, I'm suddenly in a really bad position. Especially if he knows how to manage it, if he can keep alive his critical units while he's pushing. And if I don't react properly, like quickly enough with a like attempt on his base on my own, it could actually wind up costing me the game. And sorry, Godzi, but only fools are able to lose a game that they should have won. Well, fools and noobs, I guess, so maybe I should stop being quite so mean. But anyway, yeah, at this point, the game has pretty much been has been won by me. Like, even if he takes back his 2-pointer, I have a bunch of material in here, and I'm still taking out a +2 with 10 minutes to go, and my position on the map is now almost overwhelmingly dominant. So if you look very closely, what's going on here? So I see SAS. So I see the Zemshar here, right? But immediately I start pulling back with my MEXAS and my SAS, and try to advance forward with my Grey Jackets. Reasons because the SAS, they're valuable. I don't want to lose them for nothing. And I also pull the MEXAS over to here to like help provide a superior fire support to kill these Zemshar quicker. At this point, I'm actually out of supply, so I really don't want to take any infantry damage, more infantry damage than I absolutely have to. So yeah, from here, I attack with the Green Jackets first. The Zemshar start shooting at the Green Jackets, and then the MEXAS gets up, and I lose 1 Green Jacket. Yeah, losing the Stormer there was unfortunate. I intentionally moved the Stormer because I knew the enemy was paying attention, so he was going to try and blind bomb it, but it turns out the J7H's bomb was just inaccurate enough to actually hit where it repositioned to. So my fault, I probably should have moved it down this way. Also, yes, this is cheesy. Yes, it's more than a little cancerous. So mea culpa, but honestly at this point, like, there was really not much the enemy could have done. Like, even if I didn't have the mortar spam, I still would be winning. I would still be definitively winning. Like, I still have my challenger back here, and he really can't contest that with anything else. So yeah, that is what one of my games looks like. And you may have thought, well, I mean, kind of cherry picked that one, right? You won this one. Yeah, you're right. So in the next Studies in Salt, I'm probably going to show you a couple games I played against Esmacine in which I'm absolutely destroyed. So I guess look forward to that. This has been Tyrnek, signing off.